Hello, my name is Alienora Taylor and I have fairly recently recorded myself reading parts of the novel that I have written entitled Long-Leggedy Beasties and made 6 humorous, very small videos about that. This one is very, very different. This is actually a piece I wrote for my blog about 3 months ago, and it is actually an alter ego through whom I am speaking, a little priestess with long silvery white hair who actually turns up in my meditations quite regularly. So this is a more poetic, more flowing, more lyrical, not really funny piece called Silver-haired Priestess. I have made love by moonlight in a cold Cornish sea, with you, my beloved man, my knee-length white silver hair fronding out over the surface like anemic seaweed, our bodies gleaming and glistening in strange magical light. And now that you are gone, and I sit by an empty hearth lost in grief, my mind travels back to that wild stretch of youth and hope, magic and love. You took my hand and we ran the length of the beach, frost-silvered sand packing the spaces between our toes, a sea breeze ruffling hair, nipping cheeks, flouncing the hem of my navy blue robe. Your hands, tanned and calloused from sword practice out of doors, gripped mine. Warm you were, always, no matter what the weather was like. Your blood seemed to run hotter and thicker than mine. I could see my tiny white fingers trembling and shivering in your grasp. I looked up at you, for you were much taller than me, and noticed the perfect gold specks in your eyes. Blue eyes, dark, almost night blue, very unusual, beautiful. Your hair as dark as mine was light. Yin and yang we were. Both hands now connected, we sang and danced in a frenzied circle, scuffing the sand into strange runes under our bare feet, breath coming stertorously through physical exertion and excitement. Dizzied, heady with the presence and scent of one another, we tumbled to the cold sand and lay amongst our own foot-created ancient language. We laughed and rolled and moon-basked like seals, until the sharp pheromonal blade sliced thought from our brains. We did not kiss, just looked, as if a decision were being made. We did not speak, but I gathered the damp folds of my robe, and in a swishing of dark silk pulled it over my head, letting it lie, an abandoned shadow, behind me. I could hear your tiny gasp as you took in the nakedness before you, and I stretched out like a starfish so that you could feast upon every single inch, from ethereal hair through heavy breasts and down to the shockingly dark triangle between my legs. Were you shy, teasing me? To this day I do not know, but you were up in a leap, a little puff of breath escaping from rounded lips, and throwing your own clothes down, running, bare-backed and tempting, down to the water's edge. I chased you, didn't I? Remember? How could you forget? I called your name, wanted you to turn round so I could see all of you, but you wouldn't, no matter how often I repeated the syllables of your name. Naughty, stubborn, lovely man. You pawed the waves like an impatient unicorn, waded in, back still to me, pale light flitting over your buttocks, back muscles and elbows. The beach shelved deeply and suddenly, and when you did finally turn round, you were dressed from the waist down in a flowing garment of wide water, but I could see dark chest hair and your familiar smile. The sea closed like a healing wound about me, and the mingling of my body heat with its icy lunar beauty soon comforted my chilled limbs. I swam, an erotic act in itself. reached for you under the water, felt the line of hair descending from solar plexus down, your belly-tight stiffness. You entered me as we stood facing one another, the moon full overhead, our bodies supple and buoyant in the watery sphere we inhabited. Now I am old. The white hair is colour lost, not the sheen of extreme youth. You are long gone, mist and morn still. I shuffle and stumble. My bones will not relinquish the anxiety of pain. I go about my duties slowly and crookedly, eat sparingly and rarely. Yet still, over half a century on, I can remember the feeling of intense arousal, the contrast between the cold water and our heated bodies, and the wild screams, heard only by seagulls, as we came simultaneously. I can feel my eyes filling with tears as I write this, and I am so glad I seized that chance with you when I did, for you were killed in battle a few weeks later. But the child I conceived that night, our daughter, the little girl you never met, has been trained as a priestess, as was I, and as you would have wished. That is the end of The Little Priestess. I have actually written another story about this character, but I think that one is enough for this evening. So, goodbye.